So here in this chapter we are going to start with the legislative efforts on the broadcasting sector in India. तो ब्रॉडकास्टिंग जो सेक्टर था इसका जो एवोल्यूशन था वो स्टार्ट हो चुका था हमारे कॉलोनियल टाइम पे ही. बट उस टाइम पे प्रिंट मीडिया वाज वेरी प्रेवलेंट. तो जब स्टार्ट हुआ था इंडिया में फर्स्ट न्यूज़पेपर वाज बंगाल गैजेट, जो बंगाल में ऑब्वियसली स्टार्ट हुआ था. इसके बाद से ब्रिटिशर्स को ये बात महसूस होने लगी कि देयर शुड बी अ रेगुलेशन ऑन द प्रेस, or there should be a censorship on the base of sedition or anything defamatory against the British Empire. So finally in the year 1790 they publish a first press resolution or regulation जहाँ पे they are aiming that the editors, the publishers, the printing press, they are required to write their names in the newspaper that they are publishing. ठीक है, need to submit all the material for the pre-censorship to the secretary of the government, so that if there's any possibility they could censor it before it is being released in the public domain. Another important licensing and a pre-censorship act, which is also we have called it as a Adams regulations of 1823, which is for the licensing, because people at that time started publishing the newspapers or the printing things in their own native languages such as Persian and Urdu. To counter it, they need to take a permission before the governor journal at that time. Okay, and if they didn't get a license for the same thing, they cannot publish it. But if they publish, they have to pay a penalty of 400 rupees per publication. Keep it in mind. While you are hiring or firing any member from your printing press or company, you have to inform the governor journal at that time. After that, we see a Metcalfe Act, where there was a punishment for a seditious matter. Like prior, you have to take a permission if you can publish this thing or not. Like you have to first give the same thing that you are going to publish to the Britishers, so that they can verify there is something seditious or not against the system or not. Or if they verify it, you have to then upload it or just to publish it. If you deny this thing, you have to pay a penalty for the 5,000 rupees and 2 years of imprisonment. If you don't know the seditious meaning, it means something related to the incite of army or the government. If you are doing something against the government, anti-national things, is called seditious. This one Metcalfe Act was also a stricter control measure at that time. After this, we are seeing this Canning Act, which is also called as Gagging Act 1857, where the introduction of a mandatory licensing was done for all the publications, including the books of any language. And government is having a discretionary power here, which means unreasonable powers. If you deny the mandate licensing, you can be your press can be seized, your system can be collapsed at any point of time if you deny this thing. Then we see a development of a IPC, Indian Penal Code, which was always there, but there was a amendment and changement in these things. So this was a time in the 1960 where the first time the obscenity and the defamation was called as a punishable. There was other amendments as well in the IPC with the time as well. These are not that really needful right now. Next was the criminal procedure and the press control. Just like we have seen, the IPC was amended. CRPC was also amended in 1895, which was replacing a version of a 1852. Okay. Then we see a newspaper incitement to offense act, where the magistrate could seize your newspaper or anything, like your whole printing press can be confiscated by the magistrate if they found that you are inciting a violence or a murder. Okay, if you are just giving a flame to anything that is happening against the government, that is up to you. Then you have to see. Then we have Indian Press Act, that targeted the violence and the sedition, gave the government the power to stop the printing or the publish of certain materials at that time. Repels and incorporations, like in this series we are seeing the various legislations that were passed in प्री इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया, पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया, क्या सीन उस टाइम पे था, क्या सीन इस टाइम पे है. सो कंफ्यूज मत होना कि ये सब तब तुमको याद करना है, पर जहाँ पे मैंने थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट थोड़ा स्ट्रेस देके बताया याद कर लेना. थोड़ी थोड़ी बातें तुम्हें कहीं ना कहीं से तो याद रहेंगी, IPC, CRPC, और तो उन सबको तुम लिखते जाना. कुछ कुछ चीज़ें तुमने पिछले सेमेस्टर्स में पढ़ी होंगी, जस्ट लाइक दिस ऑफिशियल सीक्रेट्स एक्ट, इसमें तुम्हें बोला था कि प्रोटेक्ट करता है स्टेट की सिक्योरिटी को बाय प्रिवेंटिंग इंफॉर्मेशन लीकेज. ठीक है, ऐसी चीज़ें तुमको याद रखनी है, सो दैट इफ़ क्वेश्चन अकर इन 20 मार्क और 4 मार्क यू आर एबल टू राइट इट. ठीक है. एमरजेंसी इंडियन प्रेस एमरजेंसी पावर एक्ट, ठीक है, इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था एज अ ऑर्डिनेंस टू कंट्रोल द प्रेस एंड मेड प्रेस डिपॉजिट द सिक्योरिटी एट द गवर्नमेंट रिक्वेस्ट. लाइक यहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी मनी देते हैं ना आजकल हम लोग, वैसे ही सिक्योरिटी रखने का प्रावधान रखा गया था, जिसकी वजह से लोगों को पैसे देने पड़ते थे बिफोर दे डू एनीथिंग, बिकॉज अगर उन्होंने कुछ गलत किया तो उनकी सिक्योरिटी सरकार अपने पास रख लिया करती थी. They made a permanent in the 1935, later replaced by the pursue objectable method. इतना कुछ खास नहीं है इसमें. फिर आगे गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, टाइम के साथ साथ न्यूज़पेपर में कितने पेज होने चाहिए एंड कितनी प्राइसिंग उसकी होनी चाहिए, कितने पेज हैं तो कितनी प्राइसिंग कर सकते हैं वो करा, सो दैट कोई ओवर पावरिंग ना कर दे, कोई किसी और को डिस्क्रिमिनेट ना कर दे या ओवर रूल ना कर दे, इस वजह से. देन वी हैव अ प्रेस काउंसिल एक्ट, जो हम आगे पढ़ेंगे डीप में भी. 1965 में ये सेटअप हुआ था टू मेंटेन द प्रेस फ्रीडम एंड इम्प्रूव द न्यूज़पेपर स्टैंडर्ड्स. ठीक है, बट इसको रिपेल कर दिया गया था 1975 में. ठीक है, बट लेटर इसको रीस्टैब्लिश कर दिया गया था 1978, विच अगेन कॉल एज अ प्रेस काउंसिल एक्ट. देन द लास्ट वी हैव अ क्रिमिनल एंड इलेक्शन लॉ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट, इतने इम्पॉर्टेंट नहीं है. देन वी हैव अगेन द IBC अमेंडमेंट एक्ट अगेन. देन वी हैव प्रसार भारती एक्ट 1919, विच वी ऑल नो इट्स अ ब्रॉडकास्टिंग कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, which is made for the AIR and Doordarshan. We have studied about this in the last lecture. Freedom of Information Act, like 2002 में ये बात काफ़ी हुई थी कि can we access the government, is government accountable, how can they answer, how can we question the things. For the transparency and accountability we get a RTI in 2005, which is strengthening the citizen of India to seek the right to get information about anything from the public authority, from the state perspective. Or this thing is important. This right to information is important. Then we have our information technology. This is a possibility. We can get in a 4 marks because ये वाला क्वेश्चन अभी आया नहीं है, पर काफ़ी चांसेस हैं इसके. 2000 में आया था इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट. ये गवर्न करता है साइबर लॉ इन इंडिया में, रेगुलेट करता है डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन, साइबर सिक्योरिटी, ई गवर्नेंस, हैकिंग आइडेंटिफाई करता है लोगों को, थेफ्ट को, ऑनलाइन फ्रॉड्स को, प्रोवाइड करता है पनिशमेंट, फाइन टू द साइबर ऑफेंसेस, इंश्योर करता है सिक्योरिटी एंड लीगल यूज़ ऑफ डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी इन द गुड फेथ.